Hey, me, Callie Carroll. Good morning, sunshine.
Morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine.
Oh, good morning, sunshines. Daily dose of perspective.
Good morning, sweet baby sunshines. Good morning, sunshines. Let's get started.
Oh, good morning, sunshine. I thought my intro wasn't going to go off there, and I was getting really concerned and confused because I just figured it out. So why wouldn't it work? And now it worked. Okay. Anyways, morning, sunshines. We're going to talk about screens. Our children. I'm not going to go into like the full gamut of the science behind it in our book. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. I'm going to tell you my experience. And what's gone on and why and how and all those things. But you're watching Daily Dose of Perspective. So as you jump on, say good morning, sunshine. Hey, in the comments, wherever you're watching and listening, and then share something that you are grateful for. Uh, and what that does is it can get you from one space into another space if you're going through anything a little funky or icky, or just even a better space if you're doing good today. I'm so grateful for hot cups, specifically this new cup where, you guys, this is going to blow your mind. You can't look at this. I can pour this like this. I have to push this button for it to come out. So I can spill this mofo all over the place. I can kick it over. I mean, it's a great cup and it keeps it super hot. Stay hot cup. That's what I'm grateful for. You guys, waiting for your answers. Waiting for your answers. I'm watching for your answers. Okay, let's talk about screens for a second here. And I'll explain my situation. So I have, and let's just say their ages at the time when this all transpired, my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old. We were, I don't want to say like on screens all the time, but after Witten was diagnosed with his, cancer and his diseases and stuff, when we were at the hospital, they gave us these bags, amazing bags. And in it, it was like we got these tablets, like little I don't even like Amazon tablets or something, which we hadn't had before. And, the kids had just watched TV before that if they wanted to see anything. So it was such a blessing because when we were in the hospital over and over again, it was nice for Witten to have something to do. We could try to get him to play some games if he wanted to, some sort of distraction from what was going on. Plus, not to mention like the, 45-minute drive back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh my gosh, how funny, Ryan. So, guys, Ryan has something to say from YouTube that I'm being completely hypocritical because I'm talking about taking my kids off of screens, but then I make videos. Isn't that so funny? Yeah, Ryan, totally understand that. I don't want to, like, I didn't want to go into the science behind what it does to kids before the age of 16 and having a screen consistently in front of them. But the truth is, we live in a world where we have access to some incredible resources through social media, screens, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, like all of the different things where we're able to really grow if we choose to. And as grown adults, we have the mental capacity to be able to choose between those things. But when it comes down to our children, them being consistently tied to a screen is actually changing the way their brains are developing, and it's creating additional, heightened levels of ADHD, of addictions, just a lot of different things. Again, that's not what this video is about. So appreciate your comment. I don't even know if you're still on here. High five. But it's different. It's different for a child to be on a screen than it is for an adult. Not to say that it can't be completely harmful for adults too, especially depending on what you decide to consume. But if you decide to use social media for its superpowers and screens for their superpowers, you can do a lot of amazing things as an adult who can process things. So I'm specifically talking about my 3 and 5-year-old. And so during this whole this cancer process with my baby, it was very useful and supportive for us. But as we rung the bell, and it was 5 months later, we were getting through the chemo hangover with my son, and I noticed my kids' irritability when they were on their screens or when their screens were removed. So we had just gone on a camping trip, amazing trip, all these great experiences, where we're playing in the sand and in the sun and the water and the lake, and then we're on our way home and they have to have their screens. And the second I took their screens away, they just both would start to have this erratic, crazy behavior upon not being able to have it, which I understand now after doing a lot of different research and like the addictive qualities that the screens have. And it really is like taking, it's taking their addiction away. So it makes them show up a certain way. So first of all, why did I take my kids' screens away? This was before I'd done any of the research or I had read the book that we read for book club last month. And um I was just like, I don't want him acting like this anymore. I don't want him acting like this anymore. And it was like, it wasn't like I'd been pondering it for months or anything. It was like a, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this today. So they finished throwing their tantrums or whatever they were doing, and they went out and were playing outside, and I hid every single one of our, like, any phones, any tablets, any iPads, which I don't know if your household like me, it's like you go into Apple and they're giving iPads away all the time. So it's like we had a lot of devices. We hadn't thrown away our old devices. So like everything is all of a sudden just gone. And maybe like 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, my kids come in and like, hey mom, like where's my tablet? I'm like, dude, I don't know, bro, where have you put it? And that's my how. That's how I did it. Like the maybe a few hours later, mom, I can't find my tab. I'm like, I don't know, but search. Maybe it's in the car. We just got home from camping. Is it up in your room? Whatever. And I let them look for it instead of being like, you're being punished. I'm taking this away from you. Where they would have been like, oh my gosh, why? What's going on? I was just like, you go ahead and keep searching for it. But every time they would go to search for it, they would get distracted and start playing with something else, like 3 and 5 year olds, I think, should be doing, right? Like playing outside, enjoying different things and experiences. So this continued on for like 10 days. 10 days where they would just be playing, and then all of a sudden they'd want it, and then they would wonder where it is, and then they would get distracted. And for me, the experience, for them, like, it was hard because there was like something new. Now, mind you, we still have TVs in our house. I'm not going to say we don't have any like watching of anything. We love watching movies together. The kids know how to turn on Netflix. We don't do YouTube. We don't do different types of apps, like it's movies. So like I let them know they can be on either Netflix or Disney or Amazon. No, we don't even have any Amazon. Mostly Netflix and Disney, right? Where they're watching actual like movies instead of having those short clips that are creating the crazy monkey mind. Good morning, sunshine. And so we have TVs, but now they don't have any screens. So their experience, I mean, I think that it was pretty dang difficult. They were looking for a lot of entertainment. So my experience in return was I was way busier than I had even been before. Like I really it's not like I had to, but I did. Like I needed to support them in figuring out how to fill those times. Let's just say before they had been on tablets, like when we were in the car, when we were out at like a store or someplace where they were sitting there, maybe for a couple hours at home. I don't know if it was that long, but let's just say that it was. And now it's like, how do they fill those times? How do they fill that void? So I started getting much more creative with pulling out games and Play-Doh and getting outside with them, and like encouraging them to go out and build stuff and do stuff. So it required a lot more attentiveness, attention, and intentional like guided play and parenting in the beginning phases. Not the whole time, you guys, but in the beginning, it was a lot more work for me in addition, right? So after like a month, what I noticed from my kids is that they stopped asking. They just stopped asking. They don't ask for tablets. And so like people, a lot of you guys are just jumping on right now. So this is my 3 and 5 year old after 1 month of all of a sudden me, quote unquote, losing our tablets, losing any extra phones, where they don't have any access to anything, and they just stopped asking. And it's like I started noticing all of the different experiences that we were having. Actually, let me just throw this in here too, because it's like, well, but Cal, you have a phone, right? My husband has a phone. My parents have phones who are right there. And we had to make sure, first of all, that everybody was on board. At first, my dad would keep giving Quincy his phone to play with or to, play games or things. And I'm like, Grandpa, we're not doing that anymore. Like, I understand that's like a fun puzzle game. But what I personally have experienced, and I know people have done this different ways, good morning, sunshine, is that for me, like giving them an hour a day, or how like setting certain like parameters around it, it was not as easy as just going cold turkey, ripping the devices away. And we can play games other ways. I mean, we can do actual puzzles, we can play actual memory, we can do like physical hands-on things, games. So yes, like I know that there's some great learning online, but there's great learning offline. So we just completely took them away. And then any of us, like it was also a new challenge for me. You guys, some of you might have noticed, like my presence online did go from like way up here where I'd be posting like 5 or 6 reels a day to maybe a couple a week, because I couldn't have my phone out all the time and be that good role model for them, as well as be proactive and interactive with them. And looking at what that did for me, it just got me to be more present with them as well. So in order for me to create content, which is that's what I do, back up to my homeboy Ryan's comments about how I'm a hypocrite and yeah, whatever. Like I'm not gonna read anything else about my shitty videos on here. You guys can read his comments on YouTube. Just pop over there and just get all this good stuff there. Um, but back to that, when I look at what I'm using social media for, it's to share a positive message. It's to teach people how to have a different type of perspective and gratitude through all of life. It's to provide us with tools to really enjoy the life that we have. So, yes, I do use social media. And when we were doing this with the kids, I had to find my space where they weren't around in order for me to be on, online doing my work. So that was another adjustment for me. So now here, like what's happened since then. So we know why. It's just because I feel like my kids were acting erratic when I took devices away. I felt like it was just getting obnoxious to me, and we didn't have the hospital need to be on devices that we had previously had. The how is I just said we lost our devices, like all of a sudden they're just gone, so that I wasn't like punishing them. I didn't do any sort of here it is for an hour or set conditions or parameters. I just completely took them away cold turkey. And then what has occurred, things that I have noticed since taking my kids off social media. We get in the car and my kids don't even think about, like before, like that was an automatic place. That was just easy. Like what else are you going to do, right? My kids would jump on games or jump on their phones or watch a movie or whatever. Now we get in the car. We love to sing. They pick different songs. They have playlists. I created like a little like Spotify. I know, again, technology, but where we have all of their different music. We play I Spy. We just talk. We just talk about things. We talk about gratitude. We talk about their life. We talk about where things come from. We interact more, and they don't even ask about devices in the car. Like it's just so amazing. And then I just take it to like the home space, our home life. Again, if they want to sit down and watch a movie, they can go inside and they can watch a movie. Maybe they pull down the blinds and they cut open a blanket, or they ask for popcorn, or they have an experience. But then outside of that, there is so much more interacting and playing outside. Specifically, I remember like 2 weeks ago, we were going to CSU to see my daughter for Parents Weekend, and we were supposed to leave at 11. But I look outside, and it had been 2 hours, and I hadn't, like, the boys were just being so good and so quiet. So I'm inside just kind of enjoying and doing my own thing, and I'm looking out at them, and they have got, like, they're getting sticks out where the firewood is. They're bringing them around. They're like shoveling with one of my paintings in the sand pit and building stuff. They're making different things out of the sticks. Like at one point, I look and my kids are jumping in the fire pit. And we're about to leave to Parents Weekend, and they're covered in like black and dirt and messy, and they're just getting after it. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna be late. We're gonna be a little bit late because those boys are playing so hard. I'm gonna let them keep playing. And those are the types of experiences that they've started to learn how to dive into even more, because without the immediate availability of entertainment at their fingertips, where really they're not doing anything but they're sitting behind a screen, they're learning how to play. And I don't want to get into the full play conversation today, because I want to do an entire video about that, especially in light of the book that we read and all the information and data that I now have and understand. But for me, what has happened is I've got to see my kids be in this space now where they really do have so much more just connection to activity, to physical activity, to play with each other. And the other piece, the final piece, and maybe the coolest part about taking screens away from my kids, again, these are handheld devices. They still have a TV for people that just popped on. About taking those that availability of this movement, is that their behavior has improved. Their ability to like focus, the fact that they were out there for hours playing in the sand, digging and creating, and they didn't even need my attention. There wasn't no moms, and their ability to like focus. I've seen an increased ability to focus and complete one task which is really cool. I've also seen a decrease in their irritability, in their anger, in their aggression. And they're 3 and 5, 4 and 5 now. So yes, they still have outbursts. They still all do all the different things. They are still loud AF. In fact, like some people can't even say like I'm loud. So then you take my kids and they're operating at that childhood energetic level and it's like loud and crazy. But that's not a bad thing. They're not honing their energy into a screen, losing themselves. They're actually out there physically acting and physically being and responding and interacting with people. And I just think that that's really freaking cool. So, I'm so grateful that we've done this, and I think that it's something that a lot of other parents have considered or thought about. And you think that maybe it's too late. You don't know how to do it. You don't know what it's going to entail. And probably, I think, like for me, one of the biggest fears of removing screens for my kids is going to like, what does that mean for me? Like that means that I have to be that much more of a proactive parent, and that's yes. I didn't know it was gonna do that. That's a yes. Like that's true. Even just like last night with it being, so we were celebrating John Carroll's birthday, and he's like, this is my last story, you guys, and then we're done. He's like, yeah, like let's go home after lunch. Like, let's just watch a movie. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And he's like, yeah, it'll be great. Like, we'll just watch, curl up, watch a movie. And I'm like, that doesn't, we have a 4 and a 5-year-old. Like, we don't just curl up and watch a movie. So we go home. He picks a movie, and the kids are in and out. And yes, they're playing outside, but they come inside and they need water for the chalk because they're painting the playground, and then they need a snack, and then we've got to get a Band-Aid and whatever. And like, I'm not kidding you. Hours have passed, and my husband like pauses the movie, and he's like, we've literally only watched 29 minutes. I'm like, yeah, because it's a different type of parenting. I don't use a device as a babysitter anymore, which I mean, truthfully, I have in the past. And I think that it's a very simple thing in our time, in our day and age, for us to do as parents, but also the benefits and the positive results of switching that, of changing your decision, of becoming a no screen household can be incredibly supportive. And even if that's a low screen household, if you know how to do that, if you know how to set parameters where your kids only get a device for 30 minutes, in the morning or the night or something, and that works great for you, that's super cool too. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and I'm not saying that my way is the best way, but I've really experienced something joyful and magical taking my kids off screens. So if you have any questions about it, if you want any more support with that, let me know. The book we read is called The Anxious Generation. I'll talk more and refer more to the scientific data around that for a couple days here, just so we can get more information, because it's so much deeper than I had any idea. I was just trying to avoid some irritability, anger, and like ADHD like symptoms for my children. That's why I did it at this stage, but it's so much deeper than that. So ask away all of your questions. If you've limited screens and you found that supportive, let me know. I would love to hear that. I've talked about creating maybe some limited screen spaces on Facebook. And I know, again, I'm hypocritical. I forget your name already. It's just not worth remembering. By having a Facebook group for no screens, but that's how parents can connect on things like that. So I haven't done that yet, but if there's interest, then I will, so we can talk more about it too. Okay, good morning, sunshines. I'm gonna go do a Pilates class with Adriana. She's amazing. And I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. Don't forget, perspective reveals miracles. And guys, we'll talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.
Thanks for joining, and don't forget to subscribe and, of course, share with your friends. Guys, that's how we impact more lives. All right, see you next time.